Why is keep your head up the greatest myth in hockey?
Well, a lot of people always say keep your head up, but if you keep your head up, no one's going to come and check you. No one's going to go near you because you're going to dish it, pass it, and deal it out. But if you keep your head down and your eyes up and they don't see you, and then you only have to look at socks. And no one's going to hit you without their socks on, right? So that way you can fool. So they make a charge at you, and then you can slip or slide either way. But then you never do look at the puck. And the problem with today, kids got cages on, and they have to stick their head down. So that's how they learn to handle a puck. Their head straight down. And watch how the players get hit today. They get hit from 40 feet away, have no concept. Their heads are down. And you cannot have your heads down without your eyes being up because your danger is in front of you. It isn't when you're looking at the puck. It's that they want it too. See, hockey is a game of take it away and keep away, you know. In baseball, they give you the ball. In football, they give you the ball. In basketball, they give you the ball. In hockey, you have to take it away. It's nobody's ball. No set plays. So it's a matter of drift and tide and cover and slide. And it's kind of a sixth sense of playing on what you have to do. You can't direct players. You can't give players something to think. The game happens far too fast to think. So you have to anticipate. You have to move and judge and second guess. Say, okay, I can't get there. I got to turn. If you think about doing something, it's too late. You just have to feel it. It's a flow. Some have it, some don't. Some guys are very good at playing a position, and they won't be very exciting. They'll do their job. They'll get 12, 13 goals. But they won't ever be that player that's going to break a game wide open.
You had such a fear of public speaking that you dropped out of high school to avoid having to give a speech in class. How is it that
That's
you
true.
ultimately became a television broadcaster? Did you learn to
you
overcome
read this
your
book,
fear?
did you? Yeah, I did. I didn't really like my French teacher. She didn't like how I liked the hockey. And if any of the teachers gave me breaks, I really worked hard at their subject. It was history or whatever. My French teacher was a little bit, didn't like it. And she always kind of chose me to do things and speak in French. And I get it. You got to learn the accent. You have to learn it. And eventually, the French players that I played with, like Marat and Pronovo and Perron, they all taught me how to speak French. That I was with them for 4 years. So I actually learned French. And French people will really help you. English-speaking people won't. They kind of laugh at you because it's kind of not as friendly. I don't know why. But French people, when you try to speak their language, they really go bend over backwards for you, at least in Quebec. France, a little bit different. But she said to me, I'll pick me to do a speech in front of the the whole school, in the auditorium, all my buddies and all the girls I liked and had crushes on. I'm going to make a fool of myself. And I had 13 days, 12 or 13 days from after that announcement to talk my dad into quitting. And he finally let me. And then I quit, and then I always regretted that. School's too important. If you don't have letters behind your name, if you don't have some kind of social skills that you learn in college, you're not going to be very well prepared for this world. And then you'll be doing a lot of thinking on your feet, because I'll tell you, it's a struggle without an education.
Did you eventually overcome your fear because you became a broadcaster for many years?
No.
You still
If you ask me to look in the camera and talk to it, then I can't. I can talk to you, fine. I just ignore the camera. And I ignored. I had Fred Cusick. He was the best. I worked with him for 10 years, and he's passed now. But I tell you, he was the best. A total professional. Did it for 52 years. And I remember my first game was October 26th against St. Louis, and he said, "Listen, you don't have to jump in on everything. Just let it flow. And I'll pause. If you don't have anything to say, I'll keep going." And he was good at that. And St. Louis scored 3 goals in the first 4.5 minutes. And he says, "Wow, that's a tough start." I said, "No, Fred, not to worry. St. Louis hasn't hit the net yet. They do not know they're up 3-0. And the Bruins don't feel like they're down 3-0. I said, a power play, a pretty goal, and a fluke, we're all even." And before the period was over, they did. And he said, "Wow, it's amazing." I said, "No, that's just kind of the way 3 goals is the most tentative lead in sports. But he was the best. And I never, I could, and when I went to talk to kids, I spoke with 700, 800 schools, 600, I don't know, 700,000 kids. The first 2, I was talking at them, and it wasn't working. So I did the 3rd one over in Bunker Hill. It was a middle school, 8th graders, and I was behind the screen, and I got on my knees and said, God help me. And I did not know what to say. And I got out, and I thought the idea of getting rid of, it wasn't my idea, it's the first thing that popped in my head, and I got rid of all the authority. And then the kids opened up, and they were quiet, and this was cool. They're on their own. And they really were good, and the kids were great. And after that, I didn't like say things that was going to be some kind of awakener. I just talked the way I was. So when I was scared and shy, and they related to it. And then we had Q&A, and some schools went for 2-3 hours. And it's amazing what kids will do if you just let them talk, let them ask you questions. And then I finally realized I had to park the motorhome and stay at school for the whole day. And then the kids would come in the motorhome and talk one-on-one. And then we could talk about their fears and their doubts and what they're afraid of. And they're afraid of bullies and same things that was.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.